Hey everybody, thanks for dropping by. Today we're going to take a look at the installation process for the rear Picatinny adapter for your Huben GK1 from Huben 3D Parts. So first we'll just take a quick look at the product and then we'll jump right to the installation process. So for this rear Picatinny adapter, you can see that we do offer two different versions. We have the single Picatinny version, and then I've also got the double Picatinny version here. Nothing too crazy between the two, just the difference is one's got a single Picatinny slot and the other's got double. So pretty groundbreaking, I know. So what this will allow you to do is to attach a rear support piece of your choosing on your Huben GK1. You can see here I've got this mocked up with a pretty basic folder. That one is utilizing the single Picatinny adapter. We do offer the double Picatinny adapter, and you can definitely use it for, a piece like this. But commonly, I'll just say if you have a folding tube style adapter, typically you'll need the double Picatinny setup. So let me get this guy off screen here and move this one up so we can walk through the installation process itself. So a couple things before we get started. I'll just say everybody that's picked one of these up for me, please make sure you watch this video in its entirety. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can always reach out at huben3dparts@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have about the installation process. So a couple basic things to check before you get going. Of course, because we are working on an air gun here, you do want to make sure that you are clear. So we'll just show that on camera for the YouTube police. You can see this is made fairly easy by, the loading gate that we do offer on the web store as well. So we double check that magazine is clear. Also, of course, make sure that you are on safe. So in order to install this product, this is on the product page itself. This will require your rear sight to be screwed all the way down once the installation is complete. For those of you that utilize our rear sight mount for your Huben GK1, this shouldn't be really any sort of big deal, as once the installation process of the rear sight mount is complete, this does also secure that rear sight in the full collapsed or all the way down position. So a couple things you'll need for the installation itself. You will need a 4mm hex or Allen. If you're in the stock configuration, you'll also need a 2mm hex driver for that rear sight. And I'll just kind of let you know, we will be taking off the rear striker plate. We will reinstall it. But the reason I want to call that out, that striker spring does have a decent amount of force to it. So you'll see as I walk through the installation process, you will want to make sure as you start to loosen these bolts on the rear of the block there, that piece does not go flying off into space. And also, I don't want that flying up and, hitting you in any way. So just be very careful as you walk through and, follow this installation process. And, like I stated earlier, if you have any questions, please reach out. More than happy to, try to walk you through the installation process if you have any questions in particular. So first thing that you'll want to do, and you'll see that I'm going to put my thumb right on the rear of this rear sight post here. You'll take your 2mm hex, and you do want to remove this little countersunk screw in the back. Now, the reason I'm placing my thumb over the rear sight, there is a spring that is underneath, and you don't want to lose that guy. So I'm going to take this little countersunk bolt, put that to the side, slowly let this rear sight post come up, and you'll see here, oh, there it is. We've got a little spring. So don't lose that guy. We won't reinstall this. I just put it in the bag of spare parts that came with my GK1 so I don't lose track of it. So we'll put that to the side. Next step that we'll want to do is take your 4mm hex or Allen key, and you'll want to start to break these bolts loose on the back. Now, like I stated earlier, this is under pressure, so you do want to be careful. I don't just remove the bolts and call it a day. I crack each bolt loose, and you'll see me do this, and then I start to slowly back it out, and then I will start to hold that rear plate in place and then fully remove a bolt one at a time. So let's crack these open. There we go there. And so now I'm going to hold that plate in place with my finger. I'm going to start to loosen up the bolts, and you'll see here that that plate starts to move back because of that striker spring pressure. Now again, this is also the reason that I do not replace this plate with a 3D printed part. I think there's too much stress to have that striker spring pushing directly against a 3D printed item. So we actually put this plate right into the top of the rear Picatinny adapter to make sure that we keep you as safe as possible. So as you can see, as I've started to loosen up that bolt, does just kind of pop out. And because I'm doing it gradually one at a time, I'm not really risking having my rear plate shoot off into space anywhere. And you can see once I've got those both removed, just be careful. A lot of grease that's installed from the factory, that rear plate comes right off. So I'm going to set this down here. So I'm going to install the double Picatinny adapter for this video. Installation process is the same for the single, because like I stated, the only difference is the number of Picatinny slots that are available for you. So first thing you'll do, flip that adapter over, and you'll notice that we do have some spacers built right into this. So you'll take that rear plate, seat it right on those spacers, and just give it a little firm push, and it should seat right into the adapter. And like I stated on the brief product overview, you can see this is not just a flat plate that sits against the rear of your Huben GK1. This is molded to conform to that rear profile on the back of the block. So once we've got that in place, I'm going to grab the GK1 again. And so all you do is center that cup on the striker spring, and then you'll be ready to bolt this back into place. Now, as part of the product, once you receive the product, there should be a little bag with the 2 longer bolts. So what I like to do is get this situated on the striker spring and then start to get these bolts in place. And then what I personally like to do is just give these a little twist. And what you'll be able to see is they will just start to come through. Oh, there we go. The back, actually, let me just remove this. The back side of the plate. So essentially, I just kind of like to preload it, if you want to call it that. Just kind of makes the installation process easier. So you can see, I just have the tips of those bolts just starting to poke through the rear striker plate. So I will get back to seating that spring right on that cup. And then what you can do is start to push that into place. Now you don't have to seat it all the way initially. You just want to make sure that you can get those bolts to start to catch. And you'll see I don't just screw one bolt in at a time. I do alternate back and forth. So I give it a couple turns on the one side, go back, couple turns on the other side, and this just makes sure that everything seats nice and square. And then I go finger tight. So finger tight, and then once I'm finger tight, everything feels even on both sides. I give it about another little 1/8 of a turn, so just so it snugs up. Don't go crazy. You don't have to go He-Man strength on this, but again, you do want to make sure that it is firm. If you use any sort of torque wrench, I would say somewhere probably in the 10 inch-pound range. But again, I do this all by feel, so kind of walk these bolts in. Once you have them finger tight, I go about an 1/8 of a turn past finger tight, and that will keep everything from moving and keep this rear adapter nice and secure against the rear of your Huben GK1. So once you have that done, all you do is drop that rear sight post right on the back here. I'm gonna grab, where'd it go? There it is. The little countersunk screw that we have. And then I did not reinstall the spring. And then I will tighten that all the way down again with my 2mm Hexer Allen. And you can see installation is now complete. So nothing too crazy with this. You know, like I said, you just have to be careful as you start to loosen the bolts for the rear striker plate at the top, just to make sure that doesn't go shooting off into space. But as you can see on the installation video, if you're careful, you start to unloosen each one a little bit, you know, at a time and alternate back and forth. It is a fairly, you know, uneventful removal process to install the Huben GK1 Rear Picatinny Adapter. So yeah, that's about, you know, all there really is to show on this video. You know, again, if you do have any questions, please reach out at huben3dparts@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have on the install process. And again, you can see what that, you know, finished final look would be once you have a rear support piece attached to that rear Picatinny adapter. But thanks for dropping by, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll be seeing you around.